Today we're going to go over the top 10 rookies in PPR scoring from last week. This is going to help you for Dynasty Fantasy Football, deep redraft leagues. This is going to help you out with trades with some of these younger players going forward for your fantasy leagues. This is also going to give you that confirmation bias on some of your players that you have on your roster right now. Possibly guys to pick up off waivers and everything else. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. Only channel in the game right now going this deep on the waiver wire, going this deep looking at the rookies every week. That's helping you set your lineups with these videos. That's also doing deep dives every single day. Multiple videos a day. Just me, by myself. I'm outworking everybody. Ric Flair's watching you. Do not disappoint him. Click that button. Stop missing out. Tyrone, Tracy looked good last week. He looked good the week prior. 22.7 PPR fantasy points at RB5. Led all rookies, wide receivers, running backs, and tight ends in points scored last week. And now we're going to see him and Devin Singletary fight it out for touches and opportunities. That being said, he's got the pop in his step, and hopefully the Giants do the right thing. He was a late-round rookie that we were paying attention to throughout the offseason, right after draft season, even before we talked about him in the ranking videos. That being said, he won more work. He won more work, if not the starting job. I think he should get the starting job. I think that should be his. Devin Singletary is a running back that is very good at what he does because he's very reliable. Tyrone Tracy's a different animal. More explosive. He can house it on any given play. Get you more chunk yards. And he's been looking good. He's earned it. He's been good in the passing game. He's been good in the run game. Tyrone Tracy earns more opportunity with me, at least Bucky Irving, the RB12 in fantasy last week. He was an RB1 with Sean Tucker taking off. Sean Tucker was in the 2023 class. He's not a rookie, just in case you didn't know. But 43.2% opportunity share, got the workload in this matchup. And what they're saying going into week 7, that it's truly going to be a three-headed monster, that each running back is going to get a series and they're going to roll a hot hand. We will see if that's true. We will see if that's going to be true. But Bucky Irving and Sean Tucker, I love those two as a tandem. I think they're a great tandem. I think Rachaad White needs to step it up or he's going to step out. That's what's going to happen here. If he don't step it up between the tackles, he's going to step it out. But he's good in the passing game. He's explosive in the open field. What we're seeing from Bucky Irving is what we saw at Oregon. Good between the tackles. You can line him up all over the field, in the slot, in the outside as a wide receiver. In the backfield, he's good catching the ball out of the backfield. This is a very good running back prospect. Paired with Sean Tucker, it looks like he's tapping into his upside and what we saw at college. This could be a nasty backfield. And at RB12 last week in production, even sharing the workload and writes game scripts, he could hit. Ray Davis got his opportunity. James Cook is back. The RB13, so we are almost an RB1. But we got 20 rushing attempts. This is a running back that can handle the workload. He's questionable going into this week. We're going to monitor that. But we're talking about long-term here. Dynasty, redraft, full season, 13% share of the targets. He got that deep pass downfield, brought that in. That was a sexy play. This is a running back that can get it done in all phases. He's good between the tackles. He had a little bit of fumbleitis in training camp. I believe that is the result to his slow start to the season, why James Cook is getting so much workload right now. They drafted him to be the guy with James Cook, like the 1B back, the back that's getting some touches per game to be the meat shield for him. However, that hasn't happened yet, probably until now. But last year, they brought in the ghost of Leonard Fournette. They tried to play it out with Latavius Murray. They brought in Damian Harris. Now they had to draft their dude. And it was Ray Davis. They got him at a good price. Solid between the tackles. I think him and James Cook is a great tandem, too, for the Buffalo Bills. Brock Bowers is a stud. He is a stud tight end. One of the top tight ends already in the National Football League. The tight end one in Dynasty right now. 21 years old, and we've been waiting for him for years to come out at Georgia. We've been waiting for years for this moment because he broke out early in Georgia. And a 27% target share with 10 targets at the tight end spot, that's unheard of. And this is week in, week out. He is cashing, running a lot of routes, getting a lot of opportunities. He's had 22 targets in the last 2 weeks. Brock Bowers is here to stay. Bub Means had his 5 minutes of fame. And we said going into this week that Spencer Rattler and this offense, it's going to be very ambiguous. There is going to be targets, and I was right. It was going to be 5+. He was right at 5. And the workload wasn't guaranteed. There was no certainties with him. The week prior, he hit with 15.5 fantasy points, the wide receiver 21. That's probably his upside no matter what if this continues. That being said, he's a pop gun wide receiver that you're placing bets on here randomly. I like him best for DFS if you're playing contrarian in deep tournaments, but I don't really like him at all for redraft. And Dynasty's cheap and free if you want a cheap chip, but this situation here is rather weird, and Chris Olave is going to be back. He might get some opportunity down the line later in the season, but he's not really a league-winning type of athlete either. That being said, we could have some games like Week 6 against Tampa Bay where the game script blows up. This is against Denver, a stout team, a low-volume team. That being said, it's got to be in the right matchup, and you're just playing money ball, and you're not really in love with it. And when he goes off, he's probably be sitting on waivers when that happens. And now we're looking at Kimani Vidal. He went off a late-round running back prospect. We hitched our wagon to a tremendous stash play from drafts that everybody dropped because the snap share wasn't there. It was a two-headed monster at running back. Gus Edwards left. He got a little bit of opportunity. He cashed in on that little bit of opportunity, catching that touchdown pass, RB21 for the week. That being said, we're monitoring him hard. We got good size adjust, athleticism, good production coming out of college. This is a running back prospect that has a lot of upside. You're loving it in Dynasty. You're loving it in deep redraft. And if you have him on the bench in redraft, you're watching J.K. Dobbins like a hawk, especially if he keeps getting the workload like he did last week, because that was too many touches. Devaughn, Vele. Now on Thursday, we didn't get it done. But in week 6, 11.8 PPR fantasy points, the wide receiver 30. So it's good if you're starting like 5 wide receivers in a redraft league, or it's Dynasty and you got him on the cheap off the waiver wire and you're trying to get some house money off of him, or maybe trying to sell him if he hits a little bit more. We're still running a lot of routes. We're still getting opportunity on the field. 6 targets in week 6, 18.8% target share. We hit in 2 out of our 3 games. He's not going to be in on next week's video because he didn't score enough fantasy points. That being said, he's running routes. He's getting opportunity. I don't look at him as a talent that could be like a league-winning asset. He is a moneyball play on this offense, but looking at him, there's other wide receivers I want. But if you're patching things together, you're deep enough in your league, you're probably looking at him. But Troy Franklin in Dynasty is the wide receiver I like. He's a wide receiver to put on notice. Also, for redraft, he's just getting more and more workload as we get further into the season, especially these last 2 weeks. A tremendous wide receiver prospect. One of my favorite wide receivers in this draft class. I did not say I have him ranked the highest, but he was one of my favorite wide receivers in this year's draft class. He's a smart, nuanced wide receiver, good at breaking off routes, and things are slowly coming along for him. We're starting to see more snaps, more routes, more opportunity. Almost a 70% route participation rate in week 6. We saw more targets in week 7. Looks like we might get to talk about him next week. He got 10 fantasy points. That being said, he might be there next week's video as we prepare for week 8. That being said, Troy Franklin is a wide receiver to monitor. He might deserve a you need video. If I got time, I'll get it out today. If not, maybe next week, because he's flashing some upside. He's a good money ball play. Xavier Legette's always going to be a good money ball play, especially with Deontay Johnson dealing with a rib injury, especially in those matchups where you're pushing a 50 over under, an 80% route participation rate here. Getting a lot of opportunity in this offense. Good size and just athleticism. We got speed to burn. We got the size, and we're getting that work in the offense. And Isaac Guerendo had that big run. All these points are pretty much from that big run, but the one thing you see from him is that offensive line getting that good pushback, and you see him turn on the jets with every play. Not the most nuanced running back. He's not going to play cat and mouse with linebackers in the hole, trying to create that separation to get that crease. If that crease is there given to him, he's going to blow through that like a rocket. He's got some Keaton Mitchell in him. He's got some Jalen Wright in him. He's an upside running back, but if something happens to Jordan Mason, you're going to see him blow up off the waiver wire, and everybody's going to run and get him. So maybe you want to stash him. Maybe you're in a 14-team league. You're looking at running backs. This is a guy to look at. In Dynasty, better be stashed. He has that upside. Christian McCaffrey should be back sometime. But until then, Guerendo, top tier speed. And we're looking at the quarterbacks. Spencer Rattler last week, it wasn't great. It was up and down. Spencer Rattler this week, even worse. What I said about Spencer Rattler in his You Need video is you're either going to get this or you're going to get this. But you're not going to get a Bo Nix. You're definitely not going to get a Bo Nix right here. That's just going to hover in the middle. You're either going to get this or you're going to get this. And it's common sense because that's what we saw from him all along in college. You either saw this or you saw that. And we kind of saw a little bit of this in flashes, but we saw a lot of that down there. That's Spencer Rattler. I think he showed us what he is. Jayden Daniels, stud. Caleb Williams, stud. Drake Maye snuck in QB1 value last week. Bo Nix, QB1 value. 4 rookie QB1s last week. When could we ever say that? That is amazing. No one's talking about this. This is a studly quarterback class. It's looking good. It's been up and down, but that's the way it should be for rookie quarterbacks. Caleb Williams is turning it on. Bo Nix is just getting the job done. Jayden Daniels, though, stud of the class too. Looking good, throwing those deep YOLO balls. Stud quarterback class. We got some good prospects here to stay. Let me know who's your favorite rookie in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next video.